The greatest day of horse racing in Europe is upon us. Yes, it is the Prix de Triomphe, also known as the Arc. Over the next hour, we will preview the race card and dissect all the contenders. And joining me for that on the show is Mohit Alwani. Welcome aboard, Mohit. And what makes this day so significant?
Well, apart from the fact that it's the year-ending championship over on the continent, it's, well, look, it's got history, one of the most prestigious days of the year. 7 Group 1 races for thoroughbreds, 1 now instituted for Arab horses. It's just all roads lead to Paris, to the Bois de Boulogne on that first Sunday in October.
Well, 9 quality races on the card, starting with the Qatar Prix La Baie de Longchamp. We then go to the Total Prix Marcel Boussac, followed by the Grand Criterium or the Jean Lagadière. The Prix La Opera, then the main race, the Qatar Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, the Arabian World Cup, followed by the Prix La Forêt, and the Prix du Cadran over 4,000 meters. We'll end with the Grand Handicap des Milers.
Well, a packed race card, and what a spectacular day of racing this promises to be. Mohit, the race course, of course, Longchamp, is so beautiful, but what makes it so testing, so grueling?
Well, it's one of the few race courses, well, let me say the Arc itself, over 1.5 miles, is one of the few races over 2,400 meters where draw actually makes a difference. And of course, we'll cover all this for you later in the show. But look, the race course itself, over 57 hectares of land, 46 different starting points, and a number of tracks which can accommodate races from 1,000 meters all the way up to 4,000 meters, not to mention the undulations. It's a truly testing, it's got a false straight and a final straight, so it's truly very testing.
The first ever race run at Longchamp was on Sunday, the 27th of April, 1857, in front of a massive crowd. The Emperor Napoleon III and his wife Eugenie were present, having sailed down the Seine River on their private yacht to watch the third race. Until 1930, many Parisians came to the track down the river on steamboats and various other vessels, the trip taking around an hour to the Pont de Suresnes. More than half of France's Group 1 races are held at Longchamp, with the Arc being the most prestigious and the richest. The Arc itself is run over 2,400 meters and is a true test of class, speed and stamina. This is one of the few races over 2,400 meters where barrier can make a difference, as there isn't much time out of the gates to get into a good position, with the best draw in 92 years being between 4 and 11. The course also has a false straight before the final bend, and often races are won and lost here as each jockey is working towards their final assault. A move too soon could have disastrous consequences, while a move too late is fraught with risk. The field this year will have the likes of Soumillon, O'Brien, Hughes and Lemaire, to name a few who know this course well. While all will bear in mind the subtle undulations of this track, most eyes will be on Olivier Pellier, the most successful Arc jockey in the field, who rides in Tello and who will be looking for his 5th victory in this, a race worth 4.8 million euros. Well, clearly a strong fight on the cards, that's for sure. Now, Mohit, speaking about the Arc de Triomphe, it's always been a very, very competitive race. What do you make of the field for this year's race?
Well, most experts believe, as do I, that this is one of the most competitive fields ever put together. Your top 9 horses that are in the betting have won 21 Group 1 or Grade 1 races amongst them. The last time I can remember a field with this kind of depth was back in 1986 when Dancing Brave came out and beat the unbeaten French Derby winner Bering. Probably, I'd say there is not a horse in this field as good as Dancing Brave, but the strength that exists in the depth of this field is possibly as good.
And speaking of Dancing Brave, of course, you've had the good fortune to seeing him race, as well as seeing Dancing Brave at stud. But coming back to the race card for the day itself, we're going to start with the Prix La Baie, which is over 1,000 meters. Always an open race?
It certainly is. Look, for the Prix La Baie, it's 1,000 meters. There's no margin for error. You have to jump and get into the position that you need to be in. You need to have a horse that's good enough to quicken and fast enough to be right up on the pace. It is one of the most difficult races to win on that first Sunday in October.
And here is who we think the contenders are. The Prix La Baie is the 1,000 meter scurry, and the 2013 revival has the largest lineup at forfeit stage. Picking the top contenders here isn't always the easiest. The Prix du Petit Couvert, run over 1,000 meters 3 weeks before this race, is often a good indicator to this race. The 2013 revival provided anything but this, as the first four home looked glued together as they hit the wire. While the photograph was unable to separate Debaj and Marek, and the verdict was called a dead heat, it was Cat Cole who was a whisker behind after giving the winners weight. Risk It for Biscuit was a further short head behind. On paper, it is Cat Cole who works out the best, and despite Debaj being the strongest finisher here, it is not inconceivable that Cat Cole will reverse form on Sunday.
Debaj in the green, flying through as well. Risk It for a Biscuit, Cat Cole, Mirza and Debaj, four of them in line as they hit the post.
From across the channel, Jwala will bring in recent winning form from the Nunthorpe Stakes from York. Winning her first career Group 1 race, she had as many as four of the other La Abbey runners behind her, including Kingsgate native and Soul Power. Jwala shocked the field after demonstrating great early speed, a characteristic she will need at Longchamp. With an open betting market, this is a race to find plenty of value.
And also by Tiddlywinks and also Caledonia Lady and Movie Star. And then on the far side, looking for Soul Power, hiding behind Shay Shay, Johnny Murta, just behind Shay Shay, waiting to pounce. Inside the two, Jawala, Hamish McGonigal, Tickle Pink, Spirit Quartz this time from Kingsgate native. Then Ladies Forever. Now Shay Shay is blasting at them, shaken up. Soul Power trying to go with the South African horse. Jawala still leads, however, from Shay Shay, Hamish McGonigal, well inside the last. Jawala's holding on from Shay Shay and Soul Power. A late line for Jawala.
Our selections are first Cat Call, second Debaj, third Soul Power and fourth Jwala. Okay, up next is the Prix Marcel Boussac. This is a contest for 2-year-old fillies over 1,600 meters, and more often than not it's the big wigs that battle it out for this one, because invariably you have in the fray His Highness the Aga Khan, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, the heads Andre Fabre.
That's right. In fact, this year's contest looks like a contest of extremely talented fillies. You could have Sandiva from France and even Tapestry from Aidan O'Brien's yard starting in the field.
The total Prix Marcel Boussac is amongst the best races on the cards for purists. After all, it is the calling of a future champion. It isn't difficult to remember how the great Zarkava won this race before winning the Arc a year later. And this year's top contender is Sandiva from Richard Fahey's yard. Sandiva recently won the Group 3 Prix du Calvados in telling style after running second in the Albany Stakes at Royal Ascot in the summer. She is a daughter of Footstep in the Sand from a stakes-producing mare, and with 3 victories from 4 starts, looks to be the best here. The unknown quality in the field comes from 2 unbeaten fillies. Well, in a sense, less talk in Paris, not really unknown, having won the Group 3 Prix d'Aumer. Veda, on the other hand, has run just once, having won a maiden. She does, however, race in the formidable green silks of the Aga and needs to be respected. Sandiva is the highest rated filly as well as the most experienced.
Given full bore now inside the furlongers, race clear, races out into towards the centre, veering towards the right, but still in front. Sandiva fighting hard, but up towards the line. Koyoshi goes on to win the Albany. From in second, Sandiva. Third, then Joyeuse made up some ground on the far side.
So our selections here are first Sandiva, second Less Talk in Paris, third Veda, and fourth Wonderfully. Time now for a quick break here. When we return, we'll dissect for you the contenders of the Grand Criterium. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Arc Race Day preview. With a host of horses yet to cover, we have to gallop right along, Mohit. And the next race to talk about, of course, is the Jean-Luc Lagardère, also known as the Grand Criterium.
That's right. It's for 2-year-olds of either gender, and this is over 1,400 meters.
If a race was a clash of the big guns, this one is it. Judd Monte, Coolmore and Godolphin will all play their hands in this 7-furlong sprint in this 3-ring circus that promises to be a top-quality battle. At forfeit stage, Coolmore have a number of runners left in, but the highest rated of the lot is Giovanni Boldini, a son of the top stallion Warfront. With 1 victory from 2 career starts, he ran second to the highly thought of Tomor, who also beat the Godolphin runner Outstrip on another occasion. Outstrip was just a neck behind Tomo, while Giovanni Boldini was 4 lengths adrift, giving the substantial advantage to Godolphin. The Judd Monte runner will carry the famous Frankel and Dancing Brave Silks. Kingsman is unbeaten in 2 starts, and his victory in the Solario Stakes at Sandown was nothing short of impressive.
Keeping an eye onside, making his ground pretty smoothly, it would appear, with Rossa Corsa last off the quartet. Now, Music Theory is now asked to stretch, and Kingman, for the first time probably in his career, is just faced with a little bit of a battle, but he readily goes to the front. Dismisses Music Theory. Emirates Flyers try to rally for second place. Now all about education rather than the day, because Kingman's got this in safekeeping. Pushed James Doyle by about 2 or 3 lengths and has won this pretty comfortably. Job done for Kingman, job done for James Doyle. The Solario winner comfortably by a couple of lengths.
Kingsman is a superbly impressive individual, and with a run is our best bet of the card despite the tough competition. This seems to be another top Judd Monte performer. So our selections here are: first, Kingsman; second, Outstrip; third, Giovanni Boldini; fourth, Wilshire Boulevard. Alright, and next on the cards is one of the most important races of the Arc weekend, the Prix de l'Opéra, which is a contest over 2,000 meters for the fairer sex only. So much so that some refer to this as the Arc for the ladies.
That's right. Well, looking at the Arc and the Prix Vermeil is where a lot of these contenders come out of. Treve this year, the winner of the Prix Vermeil, is going to be in the Arc, but the other runners are no slouches.
The Prix Vermeil is the best form for the Prix de l'Opéra, and with Treve confirmed for the Arc, it'll be left to the next best in the field, Passaday from Andre Fabre's yard.
The lead inside the last 100 metres. She spread eagle the remainder of them and got herself out of a very tricky position.
Passaday was 4th in the Prix Diane or the French Oaks over the summer, and that should be good enough here provided the Fugue does not run. If the Fugue chooses to run here instead of the Arc, this should be hers for the asking. Her victory in the Irish Champion Stakes was highly rated and good enough to earn her a place in the Arc lineup.
But it's the Fugue now who's striding on a few lengths clear and running up towards the finish. It's the Fugue, and William Buick are going to win the Red Mills Irish Champion Stakes in great style.
With a run, she is our pick for the Prix de l'Opéra, and here are the rest of the selections. So number 1, the Fugue; 2, Passaday; 3rd, Sparkling Beam; and 4th, Gifted Girl. Let's now talk about the Prix de la Forêt, which is over 1,400 meters, and this year's revival is going to be one of the most exciting of all times. On the one hand, you have Gordon Lord Byron, last year's winner, who's in the form of his life, and he's going to be taking on the champion filly Moonlight Cloud, who's also doing really well.
That's right. In fact, this race will be run after the Arc, but I can tell you it's not a 2-horse race. There are a number of top contenders this year.
Most believe that Moonlight Cloud from Freddie Head's stable will win this. And why not? After all, she is unbeaten in 2013. Her last victory came on the 11th of August in what was one of the best fields over 1,600 meters assembled all year.
Past the 200, running on strongly behind that is Olympic Glory, but it's Moonlight Cloud up in front from Olympic Glory in second, Intello third, Moonlight Cloud, Olympic Glory flies home, Moonlight Cloud and Olympic Glory close between the pair.
Olympic Glory from Richard Hannon's yard gave the champion mare a few hairy moments and will look for retribution in this rematch despite a forgettable performance thereafter. But the major threat may just come from last year's winner of the foray, Gordon Lord Byron, who will race in Dr. Cyrus Poonawala's Red Silks and who, despite running 2 lengths behind Moonlight Cloud in the Maurice de Geest, redeemed himself with 2 straight victories thereafter. The last one was in the Group 1 Betfred Sprint Cup, where he hammered his opposition. It is always going to be hard to bring down Moonlight Cloud here, but Gordon Lord Byron seems to be peaking and may provide value here in going that will suit him.
And Gordon Lord Byron has moved to on the far side to take over there. Slade Power challenging down the near side from Hoofit and Soul. Hamza's a couple lengths off them. Gordon Lord Byron running that solo up the far rail, passing the furlong. Slade Power is giving chase, but then Soul and Hoofit, Hamza and Hawkeye Banu. But it's Gordon Lord Byron in front. Runner up in the race 12 months ago. He reigns supreme this time, and Gordon Lord Byron wins the victory.
So our selections here: first, Gordon Lord Byron; second, Moonlight Cloud; third, Olympic Glory; and fourth, Gale Force 10. We're going to slip into a quick break here, but when we return, we'll bring to you the contenders for the Arc and also some stats which will help you pick the right horse. Welcome back to the preview of the Arc race day. Now, we've already had a look at the undercard, so let's head right along and examine our main race of the day, the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe. Mohit, you did say it's a competitive field, didn't you?
That's right. I did talk about the time form rating, and it's 129 this year, the average time form rating, with, well, the winner of the King George Novelist being at 132. As I said earlier, it's as competitive as I can remember back in 1986 when the horses in Dancing Braves here just came down that straight in a cavalry charge, and Dancing Brave wasn't even one of them at the time. I remember Gary Moore, and even said that to us in an interview on our show Horse Sense, that when I looked across to my right, I thought I had everything covered, and suddenly I heard this tremendous roar come up from behind me, and I knew it could only be one thing. It was Dancing Brave. Well, let's take a look and find out if we have another Dancing Brave in this year's lot.
Last year's Arc runner-up, Orfever, is going to be one of the favourites. He won back-to-back victories, with the latest coming impressively in the Qatar Prix Foy at Longchamp on the 15th of September. The Japanese raider was always travelling ominously well under Christophe Soumillon, as Now We Can and Stellar Wind made the running. But once his rider Soumillon coasted into the lead, he put the race to bed within a matter of strides as the Yasutoshi Iki trained 5-year-old outclassed the opposition.
Sent on now, he's cleared away by 2 to 3 lengths. Soumillon looks at the big screen, sees he's clear, looks round now, sees he's a long way clear. Orfever wins the Prix Foy for the second time.
Most will remember last year how he had to travel from the wide draw of 18 and looked a winner with 400 meters to go. While the Japanese contingent believes that he is the one likely to give them a first ever Arc victory, it is important to note that this year's field is much better than last year's.
Camelot's in mid-division, look to the right is Orfever, he's travelling okay for Soumillon, as Great Evans and Master Stroke are the leaders now. Look at Orfever, the red cab on the right coming into it. Camelot is next, Salemia's still there, yellow and green, and Hayalanda with chances, but it's Orfever now. For Japan, they're going to do it. Orfever stormed to the lead. Salemia's chasing him in second position and closing again as they race towards the line. Orfever's tying up in front. Salemia's making progress with every stride. Salemia's, she's got there, I think. Salemia might have got Orfever on the line. It's very close.
The Japanese have another serious contender this year in the form of Kizuna. Kizuna won the Japanese Derby this year, and in a battle of Derby winners, took on ruler of the world, the Epsom Derby winner, in the Prix Neil. There wasn't much to separate the two at the wire. Taking a look at that race, it is clear that ruler of the world had shrugged off his Irish Derby disappointment and possibly was a tad unlucky. He was wearing Kizuna down at the wire after having to come through some traffic, and without a disadvantageous draw, he is likely to exact revenge on Kizuna in the Arc. Ruler of the World is from Aidan O'Brien's yard and is one of 4 left in the forfeit stage. The winner of the St. Leger leading light is in, as is Camelot, last year's Epsom Derby and English 2000 Guineas winner, and Kingsbarn. No horse has ever won the St. Leger and Arc in the same year, and Camelot is a shadow of the horse he once was. Kingsbarn will be in the deep end, making ruler of the world Coolmore's best in this race.
And then Flincher coming, Okavango with a chance, Kizuna down the outside as they head down to the closing stages. Okavango is just in front now to Kizuna coming up there in the blue and red. Ruler of the world is flying between the pair as they race towards the line, the 2 Derby winners.
Kingsbarn was eased up in the Irish Champion Stakes, his first race in 2013. While the decision to run the Arc would be a daring one, he would have plenty to find on the first 3 home from that race, especially the winner, the Fugue. Trained by John Gosden, the Fugue is one of 4 fillies left in at the forfeit stage. She's in scintillating form, as can be seen from her recent victory in the Irish Champion Stakes and previously in the Darley Yorkshire Oaks.
As they race down towards the final furlong, Venus de Milo's batting on well. Now he says go on the Fugue on the near side, and she quickens up well on ground that she loves. Fast ground here at York, and the Fugue stretches away like the class filly she is, and the Fugue by 4 or 5 lengths. Really impressive in the Yorkshire Oaks.
In the Irish Champion Stakes, she had Al-Kazim just over a length behind her in second. She always looked to be finishing on stronger than Al-Kazim, who will represent Roger Charlton on Sunday. James Doyle, who will ride Al-Kazim, believes the triple track at Longchamp will be perfect for his mount, but the 5-year-old, who has won 3 Group 1s this year at 1.25 miles, has yet to win a Group 1 1.5 miles.
Al-Kazim in the centre, James Doyle trying to rally, but it's the Fugue now who's striding on a few lengths clear and running up towards the finish. It's the Fugue, and William Buick are going to win the Red Mills Irish Champion Stakes in great style.
Back to the fillies though, and trainer cricket head Marek will be unfazed by whatever the elements throw at Triomphe when she runs in the Prix de Triomphe. The 3-year-old filly shot towards the forefront of the betting for Europe's premier middle distance race after a remarkable display in the Prix Vermeil on the 15th of September. Triomphe, a daughter of motivator, is unbeaten and to her advantage will carry the bottom weight of 8 stone 8 pounds or 54.5 kilograms, receiving weight from the entire field.
Trev now tries to get after her, begins to make progress. Trev coming through with Dettori and grabs the lead inside the last 100 metres. She spread eagle the remainder of them and got herself out of a very tricky position there.
André Fabre has 4 main contenders for the Prix de Triomphe at Longchamp on the 6th of October. The master French trainer has won Europe's feature race 7 times, more than any other handler, but he has not won the 1.5 mile event since sending out Ray Link in 2006. Flintshire had headed the betting for the Arc before his defeat on soft ground in the Prix Neil, when only 4th to Japanese Derby winner Kizuna and ruler of the world, and based on weather reports, is unlikely to run. Okavango finished 5th behind ruler of the world in the Derby at Epsom, but was much closer to him in the Neil when a length in front of Flintshire, and is one who would prefer softer ground. Penglai Pavilion is likely to represent Godolphin, having won a St. Cloud listed race last time out, and this looks out of his depth, leaving Fabre's main challenge likely to come from the French Derby winner, Intello.
Intello reached the lead inside the 200. Sky Hunter is trying to peg him back. Morondi on the outside. Intello is kicked inside the 100. He's home. Intello wins the Prix du Jockey Club, goes on to beat Morondi.
Intello took an unorthodox route to this race with a prep in the Prix Prince d'Orange. He always travelled sweetly and was not unduly punished to win comfortably. Before this, Fabre had dropped Intello back to a mile in the Prix de Marois, where he ran 3rd. He was beaten by 2 top-class milers that day, and even now, question marks remain regarding his stamina.
Avec Zilli qui regagne pas mal de terrain le long de la corde, Intello qui a l'avantage maintenant et qui va l'emporter, avec Zilli qui vient attaquer Morandi aux abords du poteau, Intello qui l'emporte facilement, Morandi sera 2e, Zilli 3e, la 4e place peut-être pour Lion d'Anvers.
His pedigree suggests he should stay. He is the son of Galileo from a Danehill mare and has a dosage index of 1.26. While his mother won at the highest level up to a mile, Intello does have enough stamina points to get him home. The Germans raided the Arc with Dane Dream 2 years ago, and this year's entrant Novelist looks very much the goods. Novelist has done everything right coming into this race with a strong victory in his final prep at Baden-Baden 2 weeks ago. His victory in the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth II stakes at Ascot in the summer was scintillating, and a reproduction of that may see him win this big prize. With Johnny Murtagh on board, this could just be the pick for the Arc.
Universal leads the way to Trading Leather, then Novelist. Cirrus de Ziegler now coming under pressure, and it's Novelist that sweeps down the outside, leading in slightly on Trading Leather and Universal. Cirrus de Ziegler and Hillstar need to pick up. It's Novelist by 3 lengths passing the furlong pole from Trading Leather. Hillstar finishing well, but Novelist has kicked away. It's 5 lengths to Trading Leather. Hillstar still runs on, but Novelist is clear, and another King George for Germany. Novelist wins.
Now that we're done looking at all the contenders, there's one thing that's for sure, which is it's going to be a very, very competitive field, as you already pointed out, Mohit. What you also pointed out was that the draw will play a very important role.
That's right. Well, not just the draw, but statistics play a very important role in the running of the Arc. For example, the draw number 1 is known as the coffin draw, and as it implies, you get buried. Well, let's take a look at all the stats that may just help you filter out those that actually have a good chance of winning from those that don't.
The draw is considered crucial in the Prix de Triomphe. Only one winner in the last 11 years has been drawn higher than 9. In 2007, the heavily backed Epsom Derby winner Authorized was sunk from stall 12. Stall 1 is considered a coffin box. Aidan O'Brien won the Arc in 2007 with Dylan Thomas. Godolphin have won the Prix de l'Arc du Triomphe 3 times. Of those jockeys still riding, Olivier Pellier is the most successful Arc rider, winning it 4 times. Frankie Dettori has won it 3 times, whilst Kieran Fallon and Christophe Soumillon have each won the race twice. Japanese trained horses have had big runs on the day with 3 second-place finishes and 1 third. The first 6 home in Dancing Graves Arc had an average time form rating of 129.1 going into the race. The 6 top-rated horses engaged in this year's race have an average rating of 129. The Arc Antipost looks interesting with great value to be had. Ofever at 2.5 to 1, Treve at 4.5 to 1, Novelist 5.5 to 1, Kizuna 8 to 1, Intello 12 to 1, Ruler of the World 14 to 1, Flincher also 14 to 1, Leading Light 16 to 1, Al-Kazim 16 to 1, and the Fugue 25 to 1. And finally, here are our selections for this race. First, Ruler of the World, second, Intello, third, Novelist, and fourth, Ofever. Well, there you go. Good luck, and we hope you found this preview very helpful. And before we go, Mohit, one last question. If you had $100 to place on one horse in this race or even through the day, which would it be?
Well, it's a bit early to tell still. You obviously want to see how the going is and what's going on the day. But at this stage, if I had to find one horse and if he draws well, anywhere between 4 and 11, for me that would be Intello. He's a 3-year-old. Many 3-year-olds have won. We saw the stats, and that's because they carry lower weights. He checks the boxes. For me, it's got to be Intello.
Oh, well, there you go. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Good luck. Bet responsibly. Until we see you next time, may the horse be with you.